RTM Diaries presented to you by the one only AJ RTM. We right here, DMX settings. We are here, Alicia Keys settings. And like what Hawkins said, RIP, I won't be satisfied unless you like and subscribe. So make sure you go do that. In this episode of RTM Life Chronicles, I want to address a particular topic. It's often spoken about, but it's not spoken about, if you get what I mean. So obviously now, we got a bit of a problem. We got a problem like Whoopi Goldberg said and everybody hates Chris. We got a problem like when Dimitri Payet was running mayhem at West Ham. This is mainly for people that work in the creative industry, i.e. music, media, film, and all that type of thing, but there's a problem. And the problem is, a lot of people are basically trying to take the PISS. And when I say that, what I mean is, people expect things for free. Whether it be to take pictures for them, film something for them, do some music for them, have you feature their stuff, people expect things for free. Now I'm going to give you a few examples. So the first example was a few years ago. So obviously when it was the BLM protests, I went along to film a few stuff and see what was popping, rare tear tear. So in me filming a few stuff, yeah, there was a few people that obviously spoke to me and asked me some stuff. And I remember this guy, he was a poet. He was good at what he does, not knocking him for that, but he was saying, oh, I want you to do something for me or film some stuff or whatever. Basically, he wanted some stuff filming. I said, okay, cool. And then obviously he highlighted what he wanted, and cut a long story short, I said to him, right, it's gonna cost this much. This is a big man, you know. My man said to me, oh, I thought it was gonna be for free. I said, brother, oh my days, but you cannot make this up, bruv. You cannot make this up. Man said I thought it was gonna be free. I just stood there and thought to myself, I said, yeah, but you and your thoughts, but I thought it was gonna be for free, bruv. What do you think this is, bruv? You get me, bruv? What do you think this is, bro? Man has a craft, yeah, that man has put time and effort into and perfected. And you've come to me because you want something. You want a service, essentially. I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be for free, you know. I just said, you know what? Dead it. We're no longer pursuing that line of inquiry. And I just left. I don't think I replied to him. And then there was another situation. No, I'm tying this into it, actually. Tying in the time wasters. You get a lot of time wasters as well, where people say, all right, we're going to do this, do that. And then when it comes to it, they're bailing, bro. This is why you don't do things without a deposit. So obviously, in this situation, there was a guy who said he wanted some stuff filming. He reached out to me on my website. I said, okay, cool. But ironically, he happened to work literally right next door to where I was working at the time. So I said, oh, perfect, pitch perfect like Rebel Wilson. Obviously, what we can do is I could come to speak to you about what you want doing before I go to work. And then we go from there. The day came. Man said to me, oh, I found another guy. I think I'm gonna go with him. I'm like, bird, you really waited till the day to say that, blood? Really waited till the day to say that, fam? You know, like that, fam? I said, you know what, bro? There's time wasters and there's people taking the mick, innit? And obviously he was both in that situation. And then, yeah, to make things worse, man have no shame, you know. Man have no shame. To make things worse, yeah, he came back to me, yeah, a few months later. No, he must have called me. Don't know why he called me, but he must have called me. And he called me and I said, oh, who's this? No, I didn't say who's this. I messaged him because I checked the WhatsApp and I saw it was my man. So I said to him, oh, you called me? And then, yeah, he must have been saying, just messaging to see if you want to require any, if I require any of his services that he provides. Obviously he worked in the gym and it. And I said, you know what, you're gonna know what it feels like now. And I said, bruv, I just blanked him because I said, you know what, I ain't got time for a man like you, innit? I mean, I could have done him like he done me. I could have said, yeah, I want this, I want that, come we link up, and then build at the last minute. But I said, you know what, I ain't got time to waste, innit? Unlike him, he's got a lot of time to waste, as I just told you. I said, I ain't got time to waste. And obviously in the creative industry, you get a lot of time wasters, bro. This is why, how do I put it? You can't get your hopes up, essentially. Man can be at the 11th hour. Anything can happen, like the FA Cup. This is just what it is. You get what I mean? And then now, was a third situation. This was actually pretty recent. So what happened here was, there was a guy who saw some of my footage and he reached out, like, oh, got this footage here, Would you take the watermark off and let us use it? I said, yeah, I can take the watermark off and let you use it, but there's gonna be a cost. As soon as I mentioned money, word to MJ RIP, as soon as I mentioned money, my man didn't reply, fam. You get me? My man didn't reply. It's like people have no money. That's a lie, bro. That's a lie. Not like that, fam. People have money, fam, because at the end of the day, yeah, you're not going to walk into a supermarket and get things for free. It's not going to happen. You're not going to walk into JD and walk out with trainers for free. You get me? You're not going to call a plumber to your house to fix your toilet and get it done for free. You're not going to call a decorator to paint your yard and get it done for free. So why should we, us in the creative industry, do things for free? It don't fundamentally make sense. I'll be real like the app. I'll be real like the app, fam. Big man thing. Be real like the app, fam. It don't make no sense. Man are basically coming out and saying, oh, do this for free, do that for free and whatever. I'm like, nah, bruv. It ain't happening, bruv. And then, yeah, before I forget, there was another one. He only wanted a couple seconds or something, but at the end of the day, you still got to pay, innit? At the end of the day, you paying me, it's going to be a lot cheaper than you going out buying your own equipment. I'll tell you that for free. He come to me, he's like, oh, I want this, this, and this. I gave him one price. He knocked me down. Okay, cool, fair enough. In fact, I actually halved the price that I gave him because I ain't asking for much. This would be a routine thing. Get it done and we move. My man said, oh, there's no budget for that. And the price I gave him was so low, bruv. It was almost like I was giving it to him for free. Man said there's no budget. I said, bro, man are lying, fam. Man are gassing. Man just don't want to pay in it. Some man say to me, oh, why are you watermarking your stuff? For that exact reason, bro. Do you think I'm having a man take my thing and say, oh, this is mine and sell it on? No. You have to pay for it, fam. You get me? You have to pay for it. So I don't get why people think us in the creative industries should do things for free, bruv, because if it's any other service or industry, you're not expecting it for free. So why should we do it for free? It's still work at the end of the day. It might look fancy and easy, but there's more to it than that. Man's got to invest in his time, his equipment, his craft itself. There's loads more to it, bro. There's loads more. Like, you gotta plan stuff, you gotta follow up leads, speak to people. A lot goes into things, but people think, nah, it's just the camera. You can just do this, you can just do that. Nah, don't work like that, fam. And it's not even just camera stuff. Like, people that do music or get asked to collab on stuff, the same thing that goes there, but at the end of the day, fam, we all gotta eat, fam. I lie, man. We all gotta eat, blood. So I just don't like, the mistreatment and taking man for an idiot, fam. I don't like that, fam. But yeah, those are some of the situations where I've just highlighted where people can actually, people do take the mick on it. I'm not in either wasting time or not wanting to pay. You get me? Like, I've got my thing set up, bruv. It doesn't say on my website that anything is for free. Obviously, if I'm volunteering to do something, then I'll do it for free, innit? That's a different thing. But it ain't that, blood. Or if it's something I think is going to significantly benefit me, then I'll do it for free. But at the end of the day, respectfully, I am past the free stage, innit? Like, I've done things for free. You get me? I know what it's like, blood. I know what it's like. It's not like I don't, bruv. It's not like, I never done free stuff or I don't know what it's like to do it. I have. I've been there and done that. Word to Big Out, a Harlem rapper, R.I.P. But people just want to take the mick on it. And you know when people are serious, you say to them, yo, this, that, and the other. If you hear back from them, they're serious. If you don't, then they're not. Simple as that. You gotta watch out for these people, man. And also, another piece of advice I'll give people: if you're offering a service or work or whatever, take deposits, because people end up getting finessed when they don't take deposits, and that's where things get a bit peak. But make sure you always be taking deposits and don't be, jumping into the lion's den and expecting things to go a certain way, because it quite often won't. And I was in a situation where it nearly got techie, but we'll talk about that another day. I'm RTM Diaries, presented to you by the one and only AJ RTM. Make sure you smash a like, leave your comments, thoughts and feelings, and let me know what you think. If you've been in any similar situations, how did you deal with it? How do you deal with it? Let me know your thoughts and feelings. But that's it for this RTM Life Chronicles video, and I'll catch you on the next one. And it's peace for now. Peace.